Yo, just your ordinary outdoorsman, getting ready for another outing. Today is going to be an ice fishing day, which is one of my favorite things to do anyway. We're in the middle of self-quarantine. None of us are infected with corona or anything. We're just got loved ones that have secondary issues, and we don't want to bring anything to them. So we have the ability with homeschooling and my real estate job and stuff to be able to work from home a lot, and that also creates some free time during my favorite time of year, March. It's the end of March, and man, ice conditions are still great. We've had warm weather that's knocked the snow off the ice so you can drive out there or walk easily. And so I'm going to go to one of my favorite little lakes. I'm going to experiment on it a little bit. I'm not going to fish the same spots I've fished on it in the past, and just see what we can come up with. This ordinary fisherman always has his ice fishing stuff in the back of his vehicle all year, so I can get out really easily. I just traded out my bigger ice house for my smaller one because it's just going to be me today. And all the equipment I've got is just what us regular folks would have. So, you know, a few $100s every year, and I'm buying just new equipment. And over 15 years, I've accumulated enough to be able to not really buy anything anymore, except for updating lures maybe and replacing a broken rod. So, yeah. So once that's full, in a few minutes, we'll get going to one of my favorite local lakes in the Duluth area. So, just got here to the lake, and sorry if it's windy. Ordinary people don't have expensive equipment. We have to use our iPhones. Looks good. I'm going to check the ice first and just make sure we're okay before we drive out there. Should be okay. I haven't been on this lake yet this year, even though I fished a lot in the past, fished a lot in the summer. This is one of the lakes that are within 15 minutes of my house, and it's got a lot of panfish, which I like, but pretty sure it'll be okay. Alright, made it out of the lake. I'm going to try my first spot here. So traditionally, there's as far as ice fishing goes for panfish, you kind of start in the basin and maybe you work yourself shallow. I've fished enough lakes the past couple weeks to know that fish have already worked their way up shallow to give it a whirl on this lake. So back behind me is where the basin is, and where I'm at now is a known spot that I've fished in the summer in the past. Right behind me there's a reed edge, and so I got defined reeds probably 50 yards behind me, and then a flat that comes down 10 feet before it goes down into the basin that way. So I'm going to try this flat, and I'm going to drill towards the reed line and see if I can't get into some bluegills and crappies. And if that doesn't work, you just drill around some more. I've got a backup plan of another reed edge to try in a different spot in the lake, and we'll see what happens. Alright, what I'm doing now is just getting ready to get my lure to drop it down the hole. We're going to test some of these holes, all of them actually, see where we're at. I'm using the Dave Gentz Special. Got some spikes, Euro Lava. It's a tungsten head jig with just tipped with some spikes, some white ones, just a real simple presentation. I learned that from Dave Gentz. He likes to pack them on there, and so do I. Seems to work. So we'll just give all these holes a whirl, see what's under them, and hopefully we'll be in fish right away. We'll find out. There's some fish here. These are acting like perch though. When you do a lot of ice fishing and you look at these flashers a lot, you start learning what marks are, and actually when you get a camera down at the same time and you're watching at the same time, you can see that certain fish act a certain way and their marks show up a certain way. And perch are they're pretty aggressive. They usually come up as a light green mark. I've got to mark them, that's how it shows. And then they'll go down fast, but if they go down slow, they'll actually turn red because they turn flat when they go down. And they're darters too, so they're going to move really fast on your screen. Like I said, that's kind of the way these marks are acting, so I'm willing to bet they're perch. But I still want to catch one just to know for sure. It's a beautiful day. It's almost actually 40 degrees, but with the wind it feels like it's 20. But that sun sure feels nice. Well, it's nice to see marks, but they aren't grabbing my offering. I'm actually gonna put my $5 gloves on. End of the year hunting special. I actually love these for ice fishing because you can easily flip them into mittens and warm up your hands, or open up and use your fingers. On windy days like today, that's really nice. Nope. All right, next hole. We'll find out. Yep, little perch. All right, whole bunch of perch. So, on to the next spot. Spot 2 is a bust. Always make sure you're on safe ice. We've got about 18 to 20 inches of good ice here, but it's pretty consistent ice. I know this lake, there's no springs in it. The inlet is way on the other end of the lake, so we're in pretty good shape. But off to spot 3, try again. Alright, so I've been spending a lot of time looking for fish today, and I gave up on the shallow. Went to the old trusty main basin and got into a pot of crappies. They're not big. I'm not going anywhere else today, so we're gonna catch these for the rest of the evening. Yeah, that's the smallest one so far. I don't even know if I'm gonna show it. But I am on a pot of crappies here, and there's some 8-9 inchers that I've caught already out of them. I'm gonna try to bring a little meal home. I mean, there is just a Christmas tree, as we like to say down there. Let's see if we can get one of the bigger ones to bite. So I'm in what I like to call Puddle Jumper Lake. And, you know, a Puddle Jumper Lake would be like 80 to 200 acres. Yeah, I don't know, 300 acres could even count. Just a small lake that has a main basin. Kind of your main structure is mostly weeds all around, or rocks, or I don't know, panfish structure is what I like to look for. There's one little guy. Need to catch a little bigger one for dinner though. And that's what this is. This has got a lot more shallow water than deep water though. It's got one main basin here that's 20 to, it's got a 25-ish foot spot. And oh, these guys want to eat. Boom. Boom. They want to eat. This is big enough. Nope. Nope. Send me your daddy. Send me your daddy. Grandpa. Grandma. I'll show you what I'm using here in a minute once I reel in another fish. I actually swapped up from Old Faithful and put on another Old Faithful. I really like the tungsten flies that VMC makes, and I've been a believer in those pretty much from day one when they came out with those a few years ago. They are, yeah, it's probably just barely big enough to keep. Maybe 8 inches. I don't know. I have to take off my gloves. 8 inches. So I'm using this VMC fly. It's a dark version. I call it a rainbow color because it's got a little pink and blue and yellow on it. I'll put that one back. There seems to be enough to sift through to finally get to a few 8 or 9 inches. But I definitely found myself on a pot of fish. Sure beats the perch I was catching earlier. I was catching all kinds of perch shallow. All kinds of perch. Oh, there's a little bluegill. Not a monster. I was hoping for some bigger fish out of this lake, but what can you do? So I'm in like 20-ish feet of water. Kind of on the edge of the bowl, so to speak, or the edge of the basin. Oh, we came off right at the hole. That might have been a keeper. And they're all suspended around 15 to 12 feet down. Yeah, it's kind of fun. They're really aggressive. So what if they're small? I worked hard for them today. I bet you I spent about 2 hours drilling holes shallow, and all for naught. A whole bunch of small perch. These guys are used to seeing my lure. See if we can get a handful more out of another hole. Alright, I'm back in another hole here. Got another little active pod. Just in one of the holes I opened up in the spot here. See if I can get a few more. My camera whilst we talk a little bit. My neighbors next door here are probably, I bet they're a football field away. I can hear bits and pieces of their conversation. They're talking about politics. They must be good friends. I don't know how good that microphone is. The microphone might be able to pick something up too. This isn't going to be about politics. This is going to be about fishing. Fishing, fishing, fishing. We want fish. Oh. Oh, and then it comes off. That stinker. did it again. I was gonna sling him up. Oh well. I'm not gonna have my 5 or 6 to take home for dinner at this rate. If I keep losing them at the hole. So hopefully we'll get some videos of some fishing at new places around in northern Minnesota where I hit, and just using ordinary equipment, nothing fancy. It's all about finding the fish ultimately. If you know where the fish are, chances are pretty good you can catch them. Just about anything. You don't need a $200 rod combo to catch fish. I go out with my $20 rod combo and catch fish. That's what this is. This rod is like 12 bucks. This reel I got on sale for 15. It's normally a $25 to $30 reel. It's that inline reel. It's become popular with ice fishing. I love it because it doesn't tangle the line. This reel right here. It's just an Eagle Claw. I don't even know the brand name because, you know, if it works, I use it. Eagle Claw something. I'm too old to stay on my knees this long, man. Oh, I've been on my knees almost all day. Or all afternoon fishing, that is. Okay, well, off to the next hole, I guess. Alright, hole number 3. This is a super active pot of fish. They are flying up. They're not big, but it is fun when they cooperate like this and they're flying up. This one might be keeping. I take my glove off to get him because he is a keeper. Not a monster, but that's kind of the biggest I've been getting so far. Maybe 7.5, 8 inches. Again, not ginormous, but just big enough to be able to make a meal with 6 or 7 of them. And in Minnesota, we can keep 10. Which doesn't sound like a lot actually for the size and stuff they are, but I'll tell you what, they're popular fish and people catch them and keep them. And I've been on lakes where you're watching dozens and dozens of people keep their limits, and you're like, man, that's a couple hundred fish that came off the lake in one day. So we can certainly hurt the population if we're not careful. Not too worried about it today. This lake actually, it's been a bad winter for fishing, ice fishing. We had great ice early and then 2 big snowfalls that just slushed everything up, made it hard to get out on lakes, you know, to plow out on lakes and get your ice houses out and things like that. So like this spot really hasn't been hit all winter because it's one of those spots that just kind of is a little bit harder to get to. All right, hole 4. Marking them again. Oh, there. We're getting them again. And another one in that 7.5, 8 inch range. Wow, if this class doesn't get fished out in the next year or so, in about 3-4 years, these will be 10, 11 inches and well worth the trip. I like to put 2 of these Euro larvae on this fly. I'm sure everyone has their own opinions and thoughts on it. I've just kind of found that the more of these Euro larvae on there, the better. Not sure exactly why that is for the fish sake, what they're seeing and why they like it, but they certainly seem to like it better. Oh, this guy came up about 8 feet. Oh my goodness. You saw that, and oh, that I did that. I did it again. Just tell me to stop doing that. That would have been another keeper. So that's a wrap on the day. It was a good day. Spent a lot of time in the shallows. Too much time probably. Chasing bluegills that I couldn't find. I talked to a local. He's been living here for 15 years and said that every year it's different where the fish are and what they're doing. And that could be food hatching in different places. It could be fishing pressure changing through the years. Who knows? But ultimately, as far as this lake goes, the bluegills especially are not shallow, or if they are, I'm not able to find them, which is certainly possible too. So instead I settled on, as I showed earlier, the holes I popped here out in the basin, and got into a nice little pot of crappies and had a lot of fun with them. Probably a couple dozen. Kept about 8. Gonna have a nice meal with the fam for that, and had a good time. Thanks for joining me. I'm gonna call this episode 1, season 1 of The Ordinary Fisherman. Always go fishing when you can. Take a kid with you if you can. Any day you can go fishing is a good day fishing. Remember, they're always biting somewhere. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching The Ordinary Fisherman. If you like what you're seeing, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, hit the notification so that you'll know when we're out on another adventure. We'll see you out on the water. Go fishing. Go fishing.